Hello, future people. Welcome to Getting Tabled. I'm Jason the Bruce, and today we're going to be unboxing my pledge for the Drop Bear Kickstarter. I've been excited for this one for a while. For those of you that back Drop Bear, you'll know that this hasn't gone out to everybody at this stage. Australia was first. At time of recording, I believe the US shipping has started and rest of the world is still waiting on theirs at this time. I received mine about 2 weeks ago at time of filming. It might even be 3. I genuinely just haven't had time. For those that have been following the channel for a while, I've actually been recovering from a motorcycle injury, so I kind of been limited in some of the stuff that I could do. But I'm really keen to get into this. I'm really excited to get a look at it. Rather than breaking this into separate videos, I'm just going to go through and I'm going to unbox the lot for you. So some of you may be wondering why it is that I'm bothering to show you this spot. I guess probably one of the things I wanted to see is to show you how these things are being packed. Matthew kind of prides himself on how well he packs things, and with a lot of Kickstarters, especially ones that have had issues, this is one of the first places that they can cut costs, and honestly, this has still been packed phenomenally. Like, he could have easily skipped these plastic corners. He could have relied on the packaging that was in the box and not worried about the boxes themselves. He has not done that. The box itself did have plenty of packaging as well, but I just kind of wanted to show this really quickly just to show that, look, this is still being sent out with a lot of pride, which is nice to see. Alright, first things first, we have seen this artwork before on the Kickstarter, of course, but really nice looking box art. I really love this. Then once again, it's really nice, laid out really nicely, showing you the contents of the boxes. A nice display here of one of the miniatures, clear writing, and the box is actually decent quality stock. This hasn't been skimped on. He's kept the quality, which is really nice to see. We open straight up to the Tile Dispenser Tree Assembly Guide. So this is one of the items that comes in the game itself, just showing you how to put it together and how everything is being stored. Up next we have the rulebook, which is obviously the same artwork that we have just looked at. Icon index, contents, story. Really nicely laid out, honestly. Just giving you an idea of... I'm just skimming through, just to give you an idea. And it's a decent thickness, especially for a board game. Next layer is our tokens and the tree. Decent thickness in the cardstock. I would say this is 3mm by the look of it. Everything's printed really nicely. There's bleed out across all of the edges, so you're not going to have any issues with how they've been cut and so forth. So this is the Survival Expert token. The rules state that this is supposed to go to the last player that actually went camping. So this is kind of a tracker for how the game goes. It's actually dual layered card, which is nice. I actually quite like this. It's not something you see very often. Ratcatcher was like this as well. We have 2 bags full of terrain tiles. I'm not going to go through all of these individually. I'll just pull a couple out just to show you what they look like. So we start out with the Doomsday Cache, Barren Mine Shafts. We have a Mauled Hiker. Mauled Hiker again. We have a Crashed Ute. A Ute is a pickup truck, for those of you that are unaware. Creepy Billabong. Another Creepy Billabong. Another Massacre Site. And a Rugged Bushland. art is quite nice. There is actually quite nice detail in this. I don't know how well this is showing up on the camera, honestly. So, we're starting with Feral and Cheryl, which is just absolutely gorgeous here. Absolutely stunning. Up next, we have Blinky. Australians should all know this reference. Blinky Bill is a classic character from childhood nostalgia. Blinky Bill look is much older than I am. There was a very popular children's cartoon on ABC in the 90s. There's been several since. I think the 90s one was easily the best, though. We have Scar up next, which is just all kinds of wicked. Fur detail on this is absolutely magnificent. It really, really is. And then we have one of the ones that I actually previewed a good couple of years ago at this stage. I had some 3D printed prototypes that I actually showed off, and this was one of them. This is Mongrel. This might be my favourite amongst the base game, I think. We have Howler. For obvious reasons. He's howling at the moon. Again, really nice detail. I love the fact that all of the trees are unique. It's not just the way that they're posed on them. They've been sculpted really, really nicely. Honestly, they've been done really, really well. Up next, we have our wooden meeples. All of these are printed on one side. If I try to... You can see it's a little bit of a satin glossy finish over the actual print itself. Artwork on these is absolutely phenomenal. I'll just give you a bit of a go around. Every one of these is unique. Very characterful. Really, really, really cool. Cards up next. I'm not going to show all of these. The important thing, obviously, is the quality of the card stock, and it is actually quite nice. Feels standard Magic the Gathering type quality, which is good. Tarot card size. Really nicely laid out. Very nicely, easy to read. This is in the box as well. Although this doesn't feature in the rulebook, this is actually the first player token. It seems to have been missed in the contents of the rulebook for some reason. I'm not 100% sure why. Really, really nice looking clear plastic tags. I'm going to call them tags. There's probably a better name for them. Two different designs. So we have some 6-sided dice and some 12-sided dice. Seem to roll quite nicely. So this one is a unique die. It's only got the skull on one side. Very nicely printed. These are unique as well. Not everything has a symbol on it. But these are just your standard D6. We've got some more cards here. I think I'm going to leave these cards sealed for now, just until I've got a better grip of the rules. But just to give you an idea of how they look, again, some really nice artwork, laid out really nicely. This is just a standard card size. So we've got the Old Bruce boss battle expansion up next. So obviously you do need the base game for this to actually play this. Get a look on the back of what comes in this. This is obviously your main attraction here. And this is only at 90%. So, and it is good to see that it actually states that you have to have, I think this may be a legal requirement anyway, but it is good to see that it actually tells you have to have the core set. Once again, storage guide. It's always nice to see these because it's not always super obvious. Nothing on the back of this one. We have our card details for Old Bruce. And this has got our tarot cards in it as well. So Bruce gets a larger card because he is a boss. We get some extra characters in here. So we have a tabletop gamer, somebody from tech support, and of course Old Bruce. Allbros rulebook up next. Once again, we got that nice icon index. Decent thickness, not quite as thick as the call rules. Again, I'm only going to skim through this. It looks really nice, honestly. We have some new tiles here. So these are not separate tiles. These are actually together. Look at it. It's a very specific way this is supposed to gather by the look of it. We also have some double tiles as well. Red cubes. Fairly standard for board games. We have some new tokens. Same thing on both sides. We have the same... So the characters have the same style of meeples that we saw in the core box. We have some more cards. And here we have the main event. This is one of the huge selling points for the game. So here he is next to one of the standard creatures. Just to give you an idea of scale, this thing is massive. And the detail on this guy is truly next level. I love the fact that we've got a camper here. Really, really, really beautiful sculpting. It's really, really nice. The tree is also next level. There's actually gaps here where his foot has dug into the tree, and that's not a criticism. I actually quite like that. The sculptor has done absolutely phenomenal work. And then finally, we have the Ancient Una. One versus many is the expansion for this. Giant monstrous platypus. Again, 90% size here on the back. Once again, nice storage guide. Straight into the rules for this one. This one actually goes sideways. So, a little bit different from the previous one. Once again, I'm just going to skim through this, just to give you an idea. Some new tiles, a lot more tiles coming in this one than the previous one. Quite a lot more. We got some more tarot cards, both of which are for the Ancient Una. We have quite a few tokens that have come. The fact that they're folded up like that's quite nice. Cards, once again, I'm going to leave these sealed. And we've actually been given a couple of these extra clips. I'm not going to open these because we saw them previously. And here we have the Ancient Una. He's not quite the size of Bruce. He is quite nice though. Really, really nasty looking giant platypus. Really, really cool. I do, however, have to point out what is an error. That 90% shouldn't be there. That's an error in printing. Because it's actually smaller than what this is. That's left over from the design from Bruce, where Bruce was 90% of the size, and that's been left there by mistake and hasn't been picked up. Oh, here's something I've only just noticed. We actually have some platypus facts on the side of the box. That's a really nice touch. Like I said at the start, I was very, very excited for this. I was very, very excited for this when we very first interviewed Matthew a couple of years ago. I was excited for it when the campaign finally launched. I've been eagerly anticipating it when it arrived. Like a lot of people, I got nervous when there was a few financial issues with it, but Matthew seems to have handled it all extremely well. It's still turning up in a really high quality. He hasn't been cutting any corners. The quality of the product looks good. The only real criticism I have is that there is a printing error on the back of one of those boxes that hasn't been picked up. It is possible that Matthew may already be aware of that, but I have noticed it, so obviously therefore I have to point it out. But this looks phenomenal. I'm extremely excited to get a game of it in. I'm actually one of 2 people in my players group that's actually received this, so I will definitely be getting a game of this soon. It's just a question of when.